All right, let's unpack this. You're looking in the mirror, maybe after a long week, or just, catching a glimpse in different lighting, and bam, there it is. A brand new silver strand winking back at you. I remember my first one, I felt like I needed tweezers immediately.
Yeah.
That immediate, almost primal urge to just pluck it right out. You know the feeling, don't you? And along with that urge often comes this little voice, maybe a wisdom passed down, whispering, don't do it. If you pluck one, several more will grow back. It's a belief as old as, well, gray hair itself, and it has us all wondering if we're inviting, like, a silver tsunami. Today on the deep dive, our mission is to cut through that folklore and get to the absolute truth, what really happens when you pull out a gray hair. We're going to dive into the intricate science of why our hair changes color, expose the genuine risks of plucking, and then, crucially, explore more gentle, empowering ways to manage our hair. It's about arming you with knowledge, not just about your hair, but about understanding a natural part of your body's journey.
Exactly. We want you to walk away from this deep dive not only well informed about the biology, but also, with a new perspective on how we approach and even embrace the natural changes our bodies undergo. We'll look at the mechanisms, the myths, and the mindful choices we can make.
So let's jump right in. Before we even talk about plucking, we need to understand why our hair turns gray in the first place. It feels like such a sudden, almost mysterious process for many of us. What exactly is happening, like, at the cellular level when that color begins to fade?
Right. Well, what's truly fascinating is that every single strand of hair you have gets its natural color, whether it's black, brown, blonde, or red, from something called melanin pigment. Think of melanin as hmm, like a microscopic natural dye factory operating within each individual hair follicle.
That's a great analogy. So when our hair starts to go gray or white, is that factory just like running out of supplies, or are the workers taking a permanent vacation? What's the biological mechanism behind the shift?
You're close. The shift to gray, or eventually white, happens when our bodies produce less melanin. More specifically, the pigment-producing cells within the hair follicle itself, called melanocytes, they start to weaken or simply become less active over time. They become less efficient at producing pigment, or they stop producing it altogether. So the hair that grows out is now white or gray instead of its natural, vibrant color. It's a gradual process, often starting with a mix of colored and uncolored hairs, which gives that gray appearance.
I see. Okay. It's like the factory isn't completely gone, but its production lines are maybe slowing down, or the quality control isn't quite what it used to be. But it's not just about aging, is it? Because I know people who went gray in their 20s and others who barely have a silver strand in their 50s. What are some of those other contributing factors beyond just the passage of time? It seems like it's a much more complex picture.
You've hit on a crucial point there. While aging is undeniably the most common and, well, natural factor, the onset of graying is a highly individualized process. It's shaped by a fascinating interplay of several factors. Take stress, for example. It's a well-known accelerant. Many people report a noticeable increase in grays during periods of high stress, and research has shown a clear link between the two.
Which makes perfect sense. Our bodies react to stress in so many profound ways, from our skin to our digestion. Why wouldn't our hair be included in that intricate communication?
Precisely. And then there's genetics. This is a huge factor, monumental, really. Your predisposition to graying early or late is very much inherited.
Mm.
If your parents or grandparents started graying in their 20s, chances are you might too. It's simply how your body's melanin production is programmed, like a genetic blueprint passed down through generations.
So thanks, Mom and Dad, for the early grays. But seriously, it's incredible how much of this is kind of pre-programmed. Are there other, perhaps less obvious factors we might be overlooking in our daily lives?
Absolutely. Lifestyle habits can significantly influence hair health, and by extension, graying. Lack of adequate sleep, for instance, can be a factor. Our bodies do a tremendous amount of repair and regeneration while we sleep, and disrupted sleep can impact overall cellular function, including those pigment-producing cells in the hair follicles.
Mm. Okay.
And this raises an important question for all of us.
Mm.
Are we giving our bodies the fuel they truly need? Nutrient deficiencies are another significant contributor. Specifically, inadequate levels of vitamin B12, copper, and iron are absolutely crucial for efficient melanin production and, well, overall hair health. Without enough of these, that melanin factor within your follicles simply can't operate at full capacity.
Wow, so it's this complex interplay of age, stress, our DNA, and even what we're eating and how much we're sleeping. It really gives you a different perspective on that single gray hair, doesn't it? It's not just a random occurrence. It's like a tiny, highly individualized health report from your body reflecting everything from your great-grandparents' genes to last night's sleep. It's almost like it's trying to tell us something specific about our internal health, right?
In a way, yes. It's a visible signal of complex internal processes.
That deeper understanding of why our hair changes makes the next question even more crucial. If our bodies are sending these signals, how are we reacting to them? And what happens when we try to fix them with that instinctive pluck? Let's dive into that age-old myth. So what really happens if you pluck a gray hair? Does it, or does it not, cause more gray hairs to grow back in its place?
Okay, let's state this unequivocally.
Mhm.
Plucking a gray hair does not cause more gray hairs to grow. That common belief is simply, well, it's a myth. Your single silver strand isn't going to call in reinforcements from its gray buddies because that's just not how hair follicles operate.
Okay, that clarifies things beautifully. So the myth is officially debunked. Phew. It's like saying if you pick one white flower from a bush, all the other buds will instantly turn white. That's just not how it works in nature or in our hair follicles. But even if it doesn't magically create more grays, it sounds like there are still some actual risks to plucking. Here's where it gets really interesting. What are the genuine dangers, if any, that we should be aware of?
This is where the real caution comes in. Because while the myth about more grays is false, the actual risks of frequent or forceful plucking are very real, and they can be quite detrimental to your hair health over time.
Tell me more. What are we talking about here? Beyond just a momentary sting. Is it serious?
It can be yes. The primary risk is hair follicle damage. When you pluck a hair, especially repeatedly from the same spot, you can injure the delicate follicle itself. Think of it like repeatedly yanking a small plant from its pot. Over time, that tiny root system is going to suffer trauma.
Ouch. Okay. And what does that damage lead to? Is it just a temporary bruise to the scalp or something?
It's potentially more serious than that. This damage can lead to irritation and inflammation on the scalp, which is uncomfortable, certainly. But more significantly, repeated trauma to the follicle can weaken it, to the point where it struggles to produce a healthy hair shaft. This can result in thinning hair in that area, or even lead to small bald patches over time where the hair simply struggles to grow back as strongly, or maybe not at all.
Wow.
You're essentially risking the permanent retirement of that hair follicle.
So it's not just about that one hair you plucked, but the cumulative effect on the entire, microfactory, potentially shutting it down for good. This isn't just a cosmetic issue, then. It's about the long-term health and integrity of your scalp.
Precisely. And in the most severe cases, if a follicle is repeatedly and aggressively traumatized, it can lead to permanent hair loss in that specific spot. The hair might stop growing back entirely. So while you might be trying to get rid of a single gray, you could inadvertently be creating a tiny, permanent blank spot on your scalp, a spot that might never recover.
That's a powerful incentive to put down the tweezers. It really makes you think about those quick fixes we often jump to, versus considering the long-term health and well-being of our bodies, even down to our hair follicles. It's a classic example of unintended consequences. So, knowing all this, it's clear that plucking isn't the wise choice. What are those practical, healthier strategies we should be considering instead?
Well, the simplest and safest method, if you truly want to remove a specific gray hair without causing harm, is to cut it. Just use a small pair of scissors, cut it as close to the scalp as possible, rather than plucking. This completely avoids any damage to the delicate hair follicle.
That makes perfect sense. You're addressing the visible symptom without assaulting the root cause, literally. What about covering them up? Dyeing is a common option, but I imagine there are nuances there too, especially regarding scalp health.
Indeed. Hair dye is certainly a very popular option for many, and it's a perfectly acceptable one. However, if you choose this route, it's incredibly important to select gentler products. Products that prioritize scalp health. Harsh chemicals can be irritating, and a healthy scalp is absolutely fundamental for healthy hair growth. Always consider patch testing and look for formulas designed to be less damaging. You might even opt for temporary solutions if that suits your needs better.
Right. So it's not just about what we do to the outside of our hair, but what we're doing for our bodies on the inside too. Strengthening from within seems like a recurring theme in overall health, and hair is no exception.
Absolutely. When we talk about hair health, it's deeply connected to our internal nourishment and overall lifestyle. We mentioned the importance of a nutrient-rich diet earlier, and it really bears repeating. Think foods packed with vitamin B, copper, and protein. These are all vital building blocks. They support healthy hair and melanin production. They help your melanin factory run as efficiently as possible.
And what about other lifestyle adjustments, those factors we touched on earlier, like stress and sleep? Can we actively influence those to support our hair?
Yes, very much so. Actively reducing stress through practices like mindfulness or exercise, ensuring you get adequate, restorative sleep. These things matter. And maintaining good hydration, these are all crucial components of overall well-being that profoundly impact hair health. These aren't just like feel-good suggestions. They directly influence your body's ability to maintain healthy cellular function, including those pigment-producing cells in your follicles. It's about creating an optimal internal environment for everything, including your hair.
It's a truly holistic approach, and beyond the practical management, there's a bigger conversation, isn't there, about why we even feel the need to manage gray hair in the first place. What's your perspective on normalizing this natural process, especially when society often sends us messages to hide it or fight it?
That's a really important question. Gray hair is just that a natural sign of aging. It's not abnormal. In fact, it's a universal human experience, pretty much. Its appearance is highly individual, largely influenced by those genetics we discussed. Some people truly do start seeing grays in their 20s,
Right.
while others might be in their 40s or even 50s with very few. There's no single right age for it to appear, and, well, fighting against it constantly can add its own layer of stress.
That really drives the point home. So, what does this all mean for us, the listeners? It means recognizing that our hair journey is unique, influenced by so many factors, from our DNA to our daily habits. It's about understanding what our bodies are doing and making choices that respect and support our long-term health rather than just reacting to perceived imperfections or, external pressures. It's self-care, really, in the truest and most informed sense.
Exactly. It's about moving beyond quick fixes and embracing an informed approach to how we manage our bodies and our perceptions of them. Perhaps even finding a new appreciation for these natural milestones.
So let's recap the core lessons we've learned during this deep dive. First, and let's put this myth to bed once and for all. Plucking a gray hair does not magically cause more to grow back. That's just not how our follicles work.
But, and this is crucial, plucking does carry significant and genuine risks. You can damage those individual follicles, leading to inflammation, thinning hair, or even permanent hair loss in those specific spots. It's a far more serious consequence than any imagined multiplication of grays, because you're essentially risking the permanent retirement of that hair follicle, potentially turning it into a tiny bald spot that might never recover.
Yeah, that's the key takeaway on the wrist front. And finally, there are gentler, more effective paths forward. Whether it's safely cutting a gray hair if you truly want it gone, opting for hair dyes with a keen eye on scalp health, or, maybe best of all, focusing on internal nourishment through a nutrient-rich diet, stress reduction, and good sleep. These are the ways to truly support your hair from the inside out and manage it thoughtfully.
Right. And given that gray hair is a natural, inevitable sign of aging for most, and its appearance is so deeply tied to genetics and lifestyle, this raises an important question for you to perhaps ponder. In a society often focused on reversing or hiding these natural processes, what value might there be in understanding and maybe even embracing our body's natural signals rather than perpetually fighting them?
It's something to think about, isn't it? Perhaps that silver strand isn't a problem to be solved, but a natural evolution to be understood, and even, dare I say, appreciated as part of your unique journey. We hope this knowledge empowers you to make choices that truly serve you and your magnificent mane. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive.